Hey everybody, this is Ralph Renna, and this is another unexpected Capital Underground TV that is happening just at the right time. Summer's here, and as far as Nippertown and Capital Underground and Nippertown Radio goes, we're considering this festival season. And of course, you know, we can't let you forget about Nipperfest. It's happening July 23rd. And it's funny, there's a lot of festivals that are going on, and the Music Haven is letting us come in and do this, and it's awesome. But Nippertown being a media sponsor and out there with local music, we could not, and I repeat, we could not be able to start at the beginning of festival season. Of course, we're going to go back now. So July 23rd is Nipperfest. July 16th is Farming Man Fest at Indian Ladder Farms. And happening this Saturday is the kickoff party. We're claiming it. So I hope that Brian and Anthony are okay that we're claiming that Gem Fest is the kickoff of local music festival season. Please,
that's what we like to hear.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to put it. So here I'm with Anthony Richichi. I had to ask Brian how to pronounce your name because I would have demolished it. And Brian Michael, both who I've met through the music scene years ago. Of course, Brian in the band Terra Light and his old band Iutica. Anthony, I knew you before in your band Lock 9 before I realized you were a talented artist. So I guess we'll start with one of you guys. And we'll just show everybody what we're about to talk about, because before we get into this, I think you have to look at this amazing lineup, and then we'll start with the history of Gem Fest 2022. It's this Saturday, July 9th. And there's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot of great bands, but the featured artists make this. And why I say this, I was fortunate enough to play Gem Fest 2017, maybe. You guys, you had it all over the place. It was all in a bunch of different venues, but it was awesome and it was really cool. And what I liked about it most is that the artists and the music were scattered throughout the town of Glens Falls. Now it's a lot more focused. It's in one spot. There's now three stages kind of going on here for this. I'm going to let these guys take over. And yeah, so there's three stages. And before we move any further, I'm going to show you this. Here you go. You got an emerald stage, a ruby stage, and a sapphire stage. And I'm going to let these guys take over. So which one of you want to start with the beginning? Maybe let's start with your broness, with your friendship, because that's where all this started.
Anthony, take it away.
Yeah, man. So we met through doing shows together, Lock 9 and Iutica. I mean, we probably have a dozen shows under our belt together. And he came over to my studio one day, and I mean, there's paintings from floor to ceiling. And I was already doing art exhibits and playing with my band. And we're like, dude, let's combine forces here. Brian, you book a few bands, we'll play, and I'll book a few artists. And we did these things called rock galleries in Saratoga, Putnam Den, now called Putnam Place. We did 4 of them. The spring of 2016. Winter, and then springtime rolls around. Like, we gotta do one in Glens Falls all day, morning to night, and that was
morning to night. And this Saturday, right? This Saturday, we'll just remind everybody, it kicks off at 10:30 a.m. with the gates. Get there early because you can go shopping. There's vendors, there's food, and then the music's going to start about 11:30, right? So okay, continue.
Yeah, so we did the first one summer of 2016. And 6 years later, man, we're still holding it down.
So 6 years later, but this is not the 6th annual Gem Fest. Do you consider this the 6th annual, or is it like the 3rd or 4th?
Well, we've been doing it 7 years.
This is the 6th.
Yeah, it's the 6th.
Yeah.
One,
okay. Good. No. Good. Yeah. And Brian, you said something earlier about the acronym of what Gem Festival actually stands for. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a mouthful trying to tell everyone what we're doing. So we came up with the acronym GEM, which stands for Glens Falls Entertainment and Music Festival. And so our focus was to make an event where fine arts and basically rock and roll and other genres of music collide, and that's kind of been our goal since the beginning, to present this material in a cohesive way, because normally these two worlds of art exist separately from each other. You have a show or you have an art gallery. Very rarely do you see those two things come together. So we wanted to demonstrate that it could be done, and also by involving more people, we saw a more successful event in general and a lot of interest.
Yeah. And I'm sure that, you know, as you book these things, your email gets flooded every year. Can I play Gem Fest? I did it to you. I know that. And I'm sure our buddy Lucas Garrett did too. You know, Lucas and I played Gem Fest together.
Yeah.
He's playing. Okay, cool.
He played, he not this year. He played, I think, last year.
He did play last year, and he played the year.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're definitely persistent people, but it must get quite hectic though around this time. And you know, what really sucks is when you book it and you announce it and everybody goes, "Can I play?" And you're like, "Where do I make room?" But I know you guys try to accommodate. You might add a last minute band or something like that. So the Shirt Factory, as I stated earlier, when I played Gem Fest, it was scattered throughout of maybe it was all walking distance. It wasn't a pain in the ass. It was actually pretty awesome. You might see two bands playing at the same time, but now you got it to where you're running 12, 13 hours worth of music, 3 different stages. You might have a little overlapping, but you're pretty much sticking to your whole plan. But now it's all focused with the Shirt Factory. And do you think this will be kind of a home for you guys for a while with the Shirt Factory? I mean, obviously,
I hope so.
Yeah, you know, obviously you want to outgrow it, but it seems like the right place in the right part of Glens Falls.
And that change occurred out of necessity. We liked the venue concept where it was multi-venue. But the truth is, you know, you end up having to renegotiate every single year with new people because businesses come and go frequently in that industry. And, you know, so it was almost like starting over every single year. And by moving it to Shirt Factory, we were able to consolidate that effort and allow us to focus more on the production end of it as opposed to the legal end, you know?
Yeah. All right, we got some comments in the chat. Of course, our own Fuzz is watching, and Fuzz was there in the tent with me. And we appreciate it. You know, Fuzz busted his leg and is having some leg problems. I just straight up told you that you're like, hey, does Nippertown want to come back to the? I'm like, dude, I'm not sitting in a hot tent for 14 hours again. I'm going to come up.
It's a marathon.
Right. And I got some things to do in the morning. And I'm going to try to get up there and see some bands early and hang out for a good chunk of hours and watch some bands. And I just know that part of my day in the morning's tied up, and later on at night I'm tied up with a gig, but I can come out and I'm going to come. But thank you. But yeah, me and Fuzz, we had more fun there than I don't know where. We just sat there and we had friends come up to us. All right, so hold on a second. So also, here's another comment. Now here's a fan of Gem Fest, and they were turned on by Fuzz and I last year. And right, we had 2 people sitting in the tent with us. So this is Rosemary, guys. I want you to meet.
Hey, Nick. Nick just entered the chat.
Yep. Okay.
He's one of our sponsors.
Okay, so we're gonna get to. I'm gonna roll with the chat now. Let me check on the chat. So give me just a moment here. I want to make sure. But while we're checking out the chat, I want you guys to see this lineup of bands, and I want to see, check out the artists. So you guys can go ahead while I overlay this. I want you guys to talk about the artists and the bands that are playing this here. And let me just here and change it over. So Brian or Anthony, you could start.
Sure. I'm going to tell you right now, every single year that we can have a band like Chestnut Grove come up from Philadelphia to perform in Glens Falls is a big deal. What we're trying to do in the long term is develop what we call in the industry a circuit. So what that means is make it so that bands are able to communicate and network and go from point A to point B when they're on tour. So this is how we do it. We start to involve these other very professional acts like Chestnut Grove and Joe Mansman and the Midnight Revival Band, for example, who are accustomed to touring, and get them on the stage with everyone so that we can all be in one place at one time and make those connections that last years and years and years.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anthony, I want to get your take on some of these artists, man. Let's see. Put that back up there. I know you know them from the top of So go ahead and tell me about some of these features. Now, if you look down the bottom of the flyer here, folks, for our featured artists, Anthony's going to talk about some of them because they are just as important as the bands that are playing here, because that's what makes Gem Festival a unique piece to the local music scene every year.
Absolutely.
Is because it's a mix of music and arts. And you guys, I don't see anyone else doing it. It's your thing. And I think there's a mutual respect for you guys to go ahead and do your thing. So why don't you tell us about some of these artists?
Yeah, man.
I like how you slid over. I like how I can hide your face. Look at that. He's slick. I'm going to leave it right there. Go ahead.
So, yeah, man, it's a stacked lineup again this year. To have people like Corey Pitkin, internationally published, internationally award-winning. He's been with us for his 5th year. Hannah Williams, Sarah Calzada, Shelley Fairbanks, all award winners in their own rights. Hannah's, you can't drive a few blocks in Glens Falls without a mural of hers chilling. Joe Richichi, my brother, he's coming out from Buffalo again. He's internationally published wildlife illustrator. Jess Turco, she's a print artist locally. I mean, all these are the names of the area.
Is this the girl? Is this the girl you were talking about? Because I pulled this picture earlier, and I think it was from your
Sarah,
page.
Yep.
There it is. So, wow, how about that? I pulled one picture of an artist, and that was the one you were just talking. You said mural, and I said, there it is. All right, awesome.
Yeah,
so you
it's gonna
definitely
be great, man. And being able to pair with North Country Arts really elevates our reach as far as being a fine arts festival, and to balance that with a lineup of musicians like this, it's
right.
all around. It's a win-win.
Yep, agreed. I thought I was pretty good for pulling up that picture, not knowing we were going to talk about it. If you're out there right now and you're watching, we can see how many people are watching. Please click the share button. Let people know about Gem Fest. And if you need to be reminded about where it is, when it is, or what's happening, of course, just look at the bottom of the screen and you can see what's up. July 9th, and it is Gem Festival. Yeah, I have to agree with both of you that the artist. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about what you were talking about, Anthony, and maybe you guys can both give me your input on working with that certain, was it North Country? You said I'm
North Country Arts, yeah,
right. North Country Arts, that kind of bumps up your status a little bit. Is that what you're saying? As far as being a well respected music and arts festival now, you guys feel like it's bumped up your stature?
Definitely. I mean, they're in their 50th anniversary this year. I mean, they've been around half a century, and to be able to join forces with them opens us up to tons of new avenues to help this thing grow. And and they're not going anywhere, and especially to land also in the same year a permanent home, or at least a future home with the shirt factories, really put us in a good position.
That shirt factory.
They have a gallery right there.
Yeah.
That's where their gallery is. That's their home,
right?
NCA. So it was a quick and easy marriage, man, with those guys. So we're very excited. I'm on the board there. And it's been great. Shout out to North Country Arts, baby.
Yeah, North Country Arts, definitely. But that's the thing about the shirt factory, is that there's already so much to see there. So if you're going to go to Gem Festival, Anthony and Brian are bringing in vendors and food and art and all kinds of cool things that relate to the scene. But you know what? It's very specific to what they're doing there in the Adirondacks and Glens Falls. And it makes it, a unique thing, because it's kind of like, this is what we're doing from where we're from, and makes it cool. So when you go into Shirt Factory, you're not only going to be able to check out all the things these guys are putting on this Saturday, you're going to be able to experience what they're talking about. The actual base for North Country is right there. There's awesome shops. And wasn't Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin actually shopping there?
He was just there.
Right. So you never know who you're going to run into. So who do you think's going to be at Gem Festival this Saturday? Will it be Johnny Depp? Will it be Mick Jagger?
Dave Matthews is playing Saratoga.
Yeah, so we might see Dave Matthews. Yeah. Well, we want everybody to come out to Gem Fest. Bottom of the screen again, Gem Fest ADK is where you can get all the information. Now, I saw a post you put up the other day, Brian, about being out of tickets. So what we're doing here is we're driving you to go buy these tickets from the bands, or you
Right. So
pay your money at the door. So I'm going to put that list
all of the bands this year, they got tickets distributed to them, and the reason why we want people to buy them off of the bands is because that band actually makes a significant amount of money off of every ticket.
Yep.
Our goal as a festival is, two things. We want to fund the arts, and that means putting money in their pocket, and this is the number one way to do it. So buy your ticket from a band. Now at the gate, obviously we're going to have tickets for sale, and artists get a really good cut of all of that as well. And we're trying to make it more normalized, because in the scene, if you play around at a lot of places, it's hard to get paid as an artist, and it's hard to describe your value. So we're hoping to set that standard, or at least be a part of that conversation. And we're always open to suggestion. And, I think over the course of 6-7 years, we've come a long way. We started with handshakes and favors, and we're at a place now where everyone feels that they are fairly treated in that regard.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I was just, been in bands 30 years, but I'm in a new rock band. And when I played it, definitely you're like, hey man, there's food over here. Make sure you go eat. There's some drinks. Hey, come check out this band. You want to come hang here? Everybody who plays it feels like they're part of it. So that's, there's a lot of people too. Is there anybody else you want to talk about now? I know it's important to have sponsors. We should probably talk about some of them, right? So let me get rid of this.
Our sponsors are a big reason why Gem Festival is able to happen the way it does. It helps us keep a big portion of the event free to attend, which we believe is important because we want the event to be what we call accessible to anyone.
Yep.
So our sponsors this year are obviously North Country Arts, the Glens Falls Collaborative. If you're from Glens Falls, you've been to a number of their events, including Wing Festival. They do the Boo to You, a lot of community-based events. Mean Max Brewworks, 42 Degrees Smoke Shop, really cool place. And they're trying to open a tavern right now with really cool stuff. The Queensberry Hotel. It is literally the nicest hotel. There's no reason to go anywhere else, and they've always been so accommodating. Ginter Electrical Mechanical, and actually Nick Ginter is in this chat, and he stepped up last year, and we're hoping to make this a long-term thing with those guys. So they're actually going to be a main sponsor of the Ruby stage this year. You have 518 Rock. Jason Irwin, right?
Absolutely.
He owns 518 Rock, and he got us on the radio all week, and I'm actually calling him tomorrow morning to be on his show briefly. And we have New York State Music, which is a really high quality online magazine for upstate New York. And of course, Rock Hill Bakehouse, which is one of our stage locations.
That was such a fun place to play, man. I played there right before the pandemic, and we were supposed to go back, but it just never happened, and things get weird. Not to bring it all up, but yeah, you got some really cool. So you actually put a stage in the Rock Hill Bakehouse now, right?
We're not bringing a stage into Rock Hill Bakehouse. If you've been there, if the best way I can describe this is it's kind of like Cafe Lena. It's a really intimate scene. All of the artists playing at Cafe Lena are award-winning folk and Americana and blues artists. And so it's a great spot to go and get some food as well as maybe some air conditioning, which we might need this Saturday.
Right.
The Rock Hill Bakehouse.
I saw something was promoted, so maybe I was wrong about that. So how are they involved now? It's basically you're driving people over there because they're a sponsor.
They are just a community staple, They do a lot for the community, and they are a part of the Shirt Factory, what is called the Shirt Factory Annex building. So it's actually on the same property as the Shirt Factory. So it made sense for us to integrate with them.
That's right. Yeah. All right.
So you walk right on over. And on your way to Rock Hill Bakehouse, there's also a distillery and that record shop where Robert Plant was shopping last week.
He's not in town anymore. But the Grateful Dead may be. But we know.
Yeah, they've got nothing to do today, I guess. So, unfortunately.
All right, so let's check out some chat, guys, because I know there's some friends probably chiming in here. Want to say something. Okay, so you mentioned this. This was earlier. Okay, Don wants to know, send me the details. Okay, I can tell you very easily, Don, that the details for this are simply at your fingertips at gemfestadk.com. That's what you're going to do. You can find them also on Gem Festival 2022 and it's Gem Festival Adirondack, correct? Is the link for the Facebook, or is it Gem Fest Adirondack?
gemfestadk.com, and then on Facebook it's Gemfest Adirondack.
Okay, we got that. All right, Don, thank you. Hang on, I got another comment here coming through. I don't know if I missed these. All right.
What's up, JP?
Here's someone who's tuned in right now, and this is Gemfest artist New Saviors.
Oh,
that's Zach King. So we have some of our bands out there watching. Thank you, Kinger. We appreciate it. I actually scared the shit out of him a few weeks ago when I come up behind him at Empire Underground. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing New Saviors. I still have yet to see them. I was at their show, but I couldn't stay. That's one of the bands I'm looking forward to seeing. Again, you know, the times.
They're from Vermont. You know that, right? They're
right.
traveling from Vermont to Glens Falls.
He has always been a part of. Yeah, I know, but the thing is, too, is that just across the borders, Zach King has always been a part of Capitol Underground and a part of the scene. And that's, we try to reach out, and like you're pulling in Chestnut Grove from Philly, right? There's always bands that our tentacles will reach out and we'll pull in to help out. Okay, so let's try this one here. Let's see what we got. So this is Nick. You want to read that comment, right?
Anthony.
Yeah, North Country Arts, man. They're the real deal. I don't know if he's exhibited there or you're an artist as well, but they are constantly growing.
It says that they have a revolving display of local artists, and they truly represent the community, young and old, and they always rock the best local artists. And thanks for all they do. Awesome. Good. These are some good comments. Normally it's just someone's friends out there. Okay. So here's where the wise ass comes in. It has to be Lisa Grace. Love Jason Irwin. Well, if I was getting married to him too, I do love him, and he doesn't have to put a ring on my finger. Thank you, Lisa. Okay.
Right on.
Make sure we got all of our people here. We got our own Andy Scullin here from Unsigned 518, putting the support and the horns up behind Gem Fest. And we also have some more comments here. But Gem Fest is going to be the bomb. JP Valenti, is that a friend of yours as well?
He's a longtime friend, and we used to work together. Huge fan of music. I run into him at all the good shows. He's a big part of the scene.
Yeah. Of course, Lisa Grace has been, since she's going to become Mrs. 518 Rock, she's been definitely taking on a lot more of the duties and helping out booking the bands and, you know, taking care of everybody. So we appreciate what you're doing. They're a huge part of this. As you said, Jason having you guys in on the radio station as well. All right. How about Nick?
Nick.
He's going for the gold there. He's brown nosing there. He cannot wait for Terrorlight to bring the energy. And I do have to say, I always like Terrorlight, but I'm really digging that new track. We're playing it on Nippertown Radio, playing it on Capitol Underground, and that's the one that we've been playing called "You Can't Do That on Television." And
that's one of our singles. Yep.
Yeah, and it's definitely shown a progression in just a year or so, maybe 2 years, I guess, since your last recording. But very cool. Okay, we got some Terrorlight fans out there. So, how do you feel? Because I saw you announce the festival, and I'm like, wait a minute, Terrorlight's not playing. And he's like, I'm gonna save that. But eventually, you're like, okay, I can put it out there. Do you feel funny sometimes? Because, like, for me, you know, when I worked for The Edge, my old band Last Call got to play Edge Fest. It was awesome. People gave me shit. The next year I was asked to play. I said, no, it's not fair. Give someone else a chance. Jim asked me to play Nipperfest. I said, no, it's not fair. People are going to give me shit. He asked me twice. I didn't say no, so I'm playing. So, you know, you got to we have to, I guess I can say this and Brian can attest to it. We don't have to spoil ourselves, but we can definitely reap some benefits of the hard work we do for what we do. So Are you catching any shit from anybody for playing your own festival? Is what I'm saying.
Not anymore, Ralph. Not
No.
anymore. You know, when we were a younger band in the Utica days, you know, there was definitely a reason to think, well, what the hell? But this time around, what we do is we book everyone else first. We see where the chips fall. We don't want to put ourselves, you know, in a scenario where they're like, oh, they're always headlining the main stage. You know, we're actually on the side stage this year. We try to be humble. I know that I have different connections in the scene, but to be fair, I have been a guitarist for 20 years and I've been in this band for 8. So
paid your fucking dues and you deserve it. So I'm going to bounce back to Mike Stampalia. He's the guy you see on Nippertown that puts out the pick of the day. And he said, isn't Glens Falls basically in Vermont? But it is close, right? It's very close.
About 35, 40 maybe.
Right. So Mike's a robot, by the way, in case you didn't know that. That's Mike Stampalia. All right, we got some more people that want to say hi.
Check it out, Grape Juice. Shout out to Grape Juice from JP right there. Okay. Grape Juice have you seen Grape Juice perform, by the way, Ralph?
I did, and I interviewed them for Capital Underground at last year's
What was your vibe? Awesome. What was your vibe?
I love the band. Yeah. I love their tunes. Skeletons, they got a bunch more tunes out, but Skeletons is really the tunes that got it for me. And yeah, they're great, and they're young, so they're
young.
But the music they write is very mature. So that's all I can say.
Sure is. And we're all about bringing the next generation of artists into this and giving them a platform. We didn't have this platform when we were younger. So being able to incorporate these younger artists who are far more creative than I could ever be is one of the best things about organizing this festival for me.
All right, so let's talk about 42 Degrees is working on a pub stage area when it opens up, and it's going to be amazing. Good luck to Robin and the crew. Can't wait. We wish you luck too. 42 Degrees. I actually was popped in there one day during the day while it was kind of opening. I just went and checked it out, but I definitely have not seen a show there. But it looks like a cool venue for shows.
Absolutely.
I'm still going through these comments, guys. I don't want to miss anybody. There's so many people who are so yeah, we had JP. Okay.
Yep.
Shout out to the boys in Grape Juice. Definitely. So I guess that's where we can start now. Anthony talked about a lot of the artists. So I'm going to start with Anthony because I want his opinion on the music. So why don't you tell me, you know, what are the highlights for you this year compared to other years? What are the bands that are doing it for you these days?
I'm looking this forward. Obviously, Chestnut's going to be fun. Brookline, they're tremendous as well. Midnight Revival. I mean, Mansman, he's been with Gem since day one. He's doing the Rock Gallery.
6.
Yeah, so he's been with us from day one. Under the Den, I mean, we've played a ton of shows with them over the years as well. It's going to be great, man. And obviously, Terralite and Lock 9 are playing again. The kind of the pioneers of this whole,
and that's okay, and it should be. You should be on it every damn year. You're putting your heart and soul into this thing.
It's fun. I mean, we didn't play last year, but we've played all the other ones. I took a year off running the art tables, man, and it's a haul. I mean, it's like a 17-hour day for me and Brian. So I'm like, I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna play this year.
I did that time. I did that time with you guys last year. I did that time. I was there for a good 13 hours.
It's a haul, man.
Grape Juice, Mike Stampalia. Grape Juice is cool, he says. Rosemary, now she's our friend that was introduced to all these bands. She means it. She loved. Look at these people putting the icons up there. That's awesome. But Grape Juice definitely, for me, it was really cool to see the Erotics being brought into this. You're bringing some more Albany bands in, so
I'm stoked on the Erotics.
Yeah,
the Erotics. I booked them one time, and they're that kind of band where you get them fully sound engineered, and they turn around and say thanks, and then crank their amps. And I just knew that was the kind of attitude we needed on the main stage at Gem Festival this year. Those guys bring it. They're old school, and they have great music. I actually really enjoy their stuff.
Yeah, it definitely brought for me too. It brought some different types of some balance. You got a lot of bands that are similar in genre, but like for the most part, you said I want to put rock and art together, and you got a good mix of, indie rock, hard rock, mixed it up a little bit. Americana,
folk,
exactly.
folk,
So
Little
let's,
metal in there too. Little metal.
Yeah.
There's metal. We got a band called Violence, man. They are going to bring the action. They're going to get the blood pumping, and they're going to really lay down a great set, I think. When they sent me their material, I was shocked. I was like,
Yep.
I can't believe I've never heard this before.
Jake P. Valini says, we got some drag racing going out there in Glens Falls racetrack. The Boys and the Hauntings absolutely kill it. Punk ain't dead. And you'll see that this Saturday at Gem Fest. So thank you, JP, for chiming in. We appreciate that. Here we go. Nippertown Wise Ass, Mike Stampalia asks, are the Erotics headlining the family stage? No, I think I can answer that one. No.
They're going to be in the Courtyard venue and are performing midday, right around the time where we start gearing up for our headlining acts. They're, I think, around 4:30.
This is an artist too, Brandon. Is that right? Brandon
Waters.
Yeah, he's an artist. I think I met him at the Gem Fest that I played. Thanks, guys, for all listening. Please share, and don't forget, it's very simple. All the information you're going to need. I mean, we got our Facebooks and our Instagrams, but if you really just want to get all the information you need, it's simple. www.gemfestadk.com. Tickets are going good, selling well, but we want you to contact the bands because, as Brian stated earlier, the reason they're going to make money is because you're going to purchase a ticket off them, and that's what most people are doing. So, who didn't we talk about? So you were mentioning some newer bands, Angelina Valente, Project Race Car, Seas Atlantis, Deb Kavanaugh. Now, there's one. So that's you're going from the Erotics to Deb Kavanaugh, who no, and I think it's awesome because think about it, and I'm not trying to.
She's an accredited artist, and she has awards.
She's a very.
I'm excited to have her,
and I think that having her on that shows her the respect of what she's been doing for a long time. I'm not going to I don't know how many years, but a long time.
I want to add to that conversation. We have a committee with Gem Festival, and part of how we decide who is going to fit the year's bill is these conversations we have. And one of our board members, her name's Carolyn Shapiro, she's performing this year. She mentioned, hey, there's a lot of male-fronted acts performing Gem Festival. I think that we're missing a lot, and we need to see more acts that have female representation. And that's so important. And it was so good to hear that and change our focus. And so we really put a focus on trying to get that kind of artists on the stage. Deb was one of them, Carolyn, Angelina, Under the Den. They have Madison fronting that band. So it's a critical thing. And so we wanted to make sure that Gem Festival was well-rounded. And we're really happy to say Deb definitely fits that picture for us.
Now, do you ever think that Mortal Enslavement wants to be on this next year? So I don't see, pretty much Gem Fest doesn't exclude anybody. You've had a little bit of this and a little bit of that over the year. It may not be the same every year as far as genre goes, but I've seen almost every genre happen at a Gem Fest. So Mortal Enslavement, you never know what can happen at Gem Fest 2023.
I can tell you right now, Brandon, of Mortal Enslavement, that in January or February, we are going to put a call out to artists, and we encourage everyone to apply. That way it can be pushed up the right chains and channels. There's never been a moment where I said, no, this isn't good enough. You know what I mean? That's not how we are. We're just trying to put together a great show for everyone. And if you have material and it's something you want to get out there, we'd be happy to talk to you more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you can always go to Gem Fest this weekend, Brandon, and you can go talk to Brian himself in person by supporting Gem Festival. One thing I never saw, and I guess I'm going to take it back on me as far as what I do at Capitol Underground. Sometimes you get the best bands in the world sending you music. Sometimes you get a band with a little less of a production, or maybe they're just starting out and you can hear something in them. But I was always the guy, and I think your heart's in that same place too, to where hey, how do I know these guys in 5 years aren't going to be the biggest band around here? How do
I
I
go
know?
to your show. I go
Right.
to your show. You apply, and I swear to you, I will go to your show. I want to see the action. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I love it, and that's how we know who's got that artistic spark. You know, we want that.
Absolutely. Anthony, you got any thoughts on that as far as
For sure.
struggling artists? I mean,
I feel that 100%, man.
Yeah.
And that's the way I like approaching the featured artists in this as well. I mean, there were a few last year. It was their first time they've ever shown art publicly. And you walk down the line and you look at the booths, you wouldn't be able to pick them out. I mean, elite artists, and they just need a platform, you know? And so I like, putting them up with Corey Pitkin, who wins more awards a month than anyone I've ever encountered. I mean, he is elite level painter, and he's going to come with a model and do live model painting again for us. And to put some artists who've never shown work before with someone like that, I mean, it elevates them and it gives them a confidence boost, a career start. Now, that's what it's about, man. I mean, having these places where they can be featured.
Hey, we got some more comments. Cool. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Thanks for your input. Go ahead. Look at this comment.
Of course.
Okay. So the more diverse, the better. Bring the new guys on stage. We love all the new music, artists and performers that need a little exposure. Gem Fest is the launch point for local talent, hands down.
That's huge.
I have to agree. So thank you very much, Nick, and thank you for doing that. And thank you for saying that. That's cool because these guys need to hear it. I can't sit here and just pump them up for the next hour. They got to hear it from you guys, the guys who and the gals. And I think it is a very important point what Brian said about it is a very important time for women. It's a very important time for women. And I think I've always, right. So for instance, if I'm programming a show, I got to make sure in that hour I'm playing a couple female artists. I'm playing some metal. I'm playing some hip hop, and then I'm mixing in some rock and indie and whatever other genre I can make. And the more the more diversity we have. And that goes the same with booking a festival. So I'm going to just pull this up real quick because I want to just show them again everything that is going on here this Saturday at the Shirt Factory. I'm going to pull down this comment. Just give me 1 second. Thank you for your patience, everybody out there. Thank you for sharing. You are watching Capital Underground TV. We're going to keep going with the boys. If you have any more questions about these guys, please let us know.
Ask away.
Yeah, ask away. So here's some more comments I'm putting up. All right. Thank you for the exposure. You rock too. See you Saturday. Good. We're going to hold you to it, Nick. We're holding you to it.
Oh, he'll be there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I like to see.
Right. Here's the important part. Here's the important part. Going to the show and going to the show and going to watch the bands, great. But the artists are there and they're selling their stuff. I bought a piece of art last year, and actually I bought two. One was a little pricey, but you know what? I was like, this guy works hard, man. What am I going to take home? And it wound up being something that I gifted to somebody and I gave because they really loved the artwork. That's
gift of art.
Right. And that's the very important part is that these guys are going to be out there selling their hard-earned, or excuse me, hard work for the art. Hold on just a moment here. I'm going to pull this down. I think we need to pull Anthony back on with that one because I think,
I dig
being
that,
the
JP,
art side
buddy.
of it.
We appreciate it, man. I mean, last year, it seemed like every other person was walking around with some artwork under their arm. And originals, prints, books, I mean, you name it, watercolor, ink, pencil, paintings, oils, pastels, abstract. I mean, you name it, it's going to be there. To be able to round out a featured lineup like this, I mean, Cooper Street Alley, we're going to have dozens of artists down there. And so I appreciate that, JP, buddy. Keep buying art.
Do you think this is the biggest year with the most artists and bands this year so far? Do you try to do a little bit bigger every year?
We try to do it better every year. Bigger is not always better, but we know what we can handle, and we work hand in hand with a couple different professional engineering companies that are going to really be able to help us present this material in a meaningful way. And Anthony's curation of the artistic side is par none. You can't do better. And we're going to supplement that with another 20 craft vendors. So there's going to be like 40 vendors or more. And you're just going to see tents everywhere. It's going to be a really great atmosphere, almost like its own little shakedown in Glens Falls, you know?
And it looks like, yeah, well, we need some shaking down since we lost tonight. Haha, no pun intended. Pun intended. Anthony Vincent said Brookline cannot wait to see y'all rock with on Saturday.
They bring the heat.
Yeah,
Brookline is an amazing band.
Absolutely. And they just released some new music, so support them and go see them. These bands work really hard at just as hard as the musicians. They have stuff for sale. They have merch for sale. Buy a shirt. Don't take a free CD from them. You know, throw $5 or $10 on the table if they give you a CD, or if they're selling stuff, buy their stuff. What do you see Gem Fest 2023? Do you see? Can we have maybe a little prediction into the future before we wrap things up tonight?
Sure. What my goal is, and I'll let Anthony get in on this too, but my personal goal is to enhance the production aspect of the entire event. So we're going to want higher quality staging, higher quality lighting, higher quality engineering, because we have a formula that works. So we don't need to change it a lot. We need to just make it better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anthony,
I completely
you want to throw
agree.
something in there?
Yeah, I completely agree. The artists, the bands, they come out year after year without hesitation, and we just got to keep fine tuning things. I mean, maybe down the road it could be, add a day, an extended weekend type situation, but that's in the future, and I think we're headed in that direction.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, because this Saturday is what matters. That's why you guys came on tonight. We've been talking about doing this for a while. I'm really glad that you both showed up. I'm excited.
Thank you.
To give you all both a big wet kiss and a hug this Saturday. Well, depending on how sweaty. It's not going to be as hot as last year, though. We already know that. It's going to be beautiful day.
Looks beautiful. Good. I don't want to jinx anything.
No, it looks really good.
Knock on wood.
Really happy for it. I'm bringing some friends up. Any last words before we say goodbye to everybody from Capital Underground TV here on Nippertown?
Thank you so much for your support.
Absolutely.
We need you there. Your presence is what makes this go around. We cannot do it next year if you're not there. So come out on Saturday, say hello to your friends, and support this community.
Absolutely.
I couldn't have said it better. How about you, Anthony? Any last
words? Absolutely. We'd love to have you. The weather looks to be gorgeous. There's a ticketed entrance for the main stage. The artist lot's free, baby. The food trucks, you can come shop, buy some art, and then pop in, grab a ticket and go see the main stage. But it's going to be all access, and it's going to be a blast, man. And we just want to thank especially everyone who tuned in tonight, who wanted to get a little insight on what we do. We appreciate that. Yeah,
cool. Well, also I have an announcement, and it's not nice. It goes out to the fence dwellers, because there's a big fence around there's this shirt factory, and people walk up and lean up against the fence and watch the show. Walk in. If you're going to watch from the fence, walk in and throw $5-10 on the table, even if you're not going to pay full price. Donate some money to Gem Festival. Donate some money to the bands. Even if you're out on the sidewalk watching for free, that irritated me. And I was like, hey, man, you can go over to that table and donate $5 to watch from the fence. He was like, can I? Cool. So he did it. I don't know if I ever told you. Cool. So I was like watching the fence dwellers last year. All right. But thank you guys for being here. We'll see you on Saturday. All right. Anthony and Brian Michael, they're here from Gem Festival, and we will see them all on Saturday. Thank you very much for being here. A little pop-up show for Capital Underground TV. Here's the deal with me. I need a little time off, and I need to kind of focus on a few things I need to work out in my life. It's nothing crazy. It's just like dealing with, some family stuff and making sure things are in order. And I'm going to take a vacation. Finally, I'm going to take a vacation. So Capital Underground Radio, there's 61 episodes up there right now for you to listen to. Please give it a listen, share it. Ralph@nippertown.com. Here, I'll even put it on the screen for you because it's easy. Send your music to me directly. I can send you a link. You can upload your music for Nippertown Radio. This is a very intricate part of this whole thing is Nippertown Radio because it's all local music and it's all the time. And we support what's going on in the capital region. And of course, gemfestadk.com for this weekend. Yeah, man, there's a lot going on. So we started it off with the show with this. It's festival season. It starts this Saturday, July 9th at the Shirt Factory with Gem Fest, Farming Man Fest at Indian Ladder Farms on the 16th. And of course, the grand poobah of them all, the big dog. And it is a big show. It's a real big show. And we can't thank Frog Alley Brewing enough. We can't thank our sponsors enough, Stewart, CDPHP. The list goes on and on. What I believe, I guess I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but there should be a Nipperfest app very soon that's going to give you all the details, directions, links to bands. But we have a stacked lineup, and I know one thing, that this thing is kicking off at 10:30 in the morning, and this is the road to Nipperfest right now. It's the road to Nipperfest. You have a few weeks, and Music Haven in Schenectady is the place to be, and that is going to be on July 23rd at Music Haven. And